But at least for me, the launching point for this show was had more to do with a bit more to do with the actual history of painting as opposed to and the actual physicality of painting, and a little less to do with the rooted themes within the work. The thing I like about the larger scale of the new work is that I like doing like this sometimes, where that could be a painting in itself, and that's why I want to be an abstract painter, I think, because I like moments where that's a finished painting, you know, and like basically doing like that cheesy thing you do with your hands and like blocking things off. I really have a fun time doing that with these bigger paintings because, you know, obviously they're big enough where I can do that. In a way, kind of where I'm going to, I have a feeling.
Towards abstraction? Towards
yeah, it's weird. Like I'm
figure?
fighting, like becoming like a purely abstract painter, and like, I really almost didn't even feel like I needed the figure at all in this painting. People think it's a waterfall, but for me, I just thought about the sky opening up and just raining, like literally like a giant rainfall. But it was raining. Basically, like I call it, it's not the title of the painting, but in my head, I kind of wanted it to be like the birth of abstraction, like it's kind of spilling out of the sky, and you know, mimicking it with these weird sort of geometric, futurist sort of models. As cheesy as it sounds, like if there's any painting that I could say has some kind of internal struggle or autobiographical nature in the show, it would have to be this one, because for me, it's me fighting like being an abstract painter completely.
Was that part of your own response to the service show at the Brooklyn?
A little bit. I mean, it's weird to be 30 years old and they called it a survey. Whenever you have a survey or a retrospective, there's a feeling of bookmarking. And I guess I did want to bookmark it in a way. Like that was then, and this show was important to me because this is now. And I could paint dandies for another 20 years, and maybe people wouldn't mind, but I'd be bored out of my mind. You know? This one's. How would I respond to you, Mystery Booth? This is based on a Russian play called Mystery Booth by the like futurist Russians. Debuted in like 1919, something like that. But anyway, and in the play, it's very much about the Russian Revolution. And in the play, the whole world is flooded and destroyed, and the only place that survives is Antarctica. And 7 members of the bourgeoisie and 7 members of the working class survive, and they both come to Antarctica and battle it out for supremacy. And of course the bourgeoisie loses. And in return, the working class builds this sort of monument to the kingdom of, you know, the future and everything. So this is my version of like the working classes, like in progress, like futurist kingdom in Antarctica, post-apocalypse. This was actually based on a play as well, but an earlier one called Ubu Ra or Ubu Roy, depending on how you pronounce it, by Alfred Jarry. And it's considered the first absurdist play ever, really. It was only performed twice in his lifetime, and it consists of this king Ubu, who is basically overthrows the king at the time and leads his whole like kingdom into ruin and executes everyone like repeatedly, and you know, marches off to war with Poland, and it's just completely ridiculous and absurd. And I wanted to make a history painting based on an absurd theater play, so sort of like I was saying earlier, like taking something that never happened and is completely absurd and turning it into like a historical painting. I feel like I'm kind of collaging a lot of the paintings that I like the artists that I like, and I think I'm lucky enough where I mix them all up enough so that it's like a real cluster fuck, basically, of all of these different styles and tastes. Yeah, and just history in general. I mean, for me, it's the scale of the works is the newest thing for me. I'm more known for making these little 9x12s, you know, like little paintings, and the figures have stayed the same scale, even if they're in a larger plane. The figures are the same size as I've always painted, which I've never painted like a head the size of mine, you know. The landscape can be huge, but I want the figure to still be to the scale of like a tapestry or like a Henry Darger, you know, drawing. I don't think the main character has changed so much as what they're doing, you know. Like I feel like they're growing up a little bit. I mean, the older I get, I can't really be comfortable drawing Boy Scouts anymore. I mean, it gets a little creepy the older you get. You know? It's like I'm not super comfortable with that myself. So I feel like the figures are going to have to grow up a little bit alongside with me. You know? And
do you think?